Gandhiji leads the nation. Mahatma Gandhi believed in courage, truth and non-violence. Gandhi worked both on social as well as political front for Indian freedom. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on the 2nd of October 1869 at Porbandar, Gujarat. He became one of the most respectful political leader of the 1900s. He believed in non-violences and used it to gain freedom from the British rule. The Indian people started him calling Mahatma, meaning great saint in Sanskrit. Mahatma Gandhi studied law in London and then went to South Africa to practice law. At that time, the British ruled South Africa. The Indians in South Africa were ill-treated. Mahatma Gandhi started fighting against the racist policies of white British rulers. He stayed there for 21 years. He developed an action method based upon the principles of courage, non-violence and truth and called it Satyagraha movement. Topic number 1. Arrival of Mahatma Gandhi. In 1915, Gandhiji returned to India. On returning to India, Mahatma Gandhi travelled all over the country. He saw the poor state of the Indians under the British rule and started working India's freedom. He was very unhappy about the treatment given to the lower caste people, the untouchables, by the upper caste people. This disunity among the Indian people due to religion, caste and gender was a hindrance in the achievement of freedom. He, soon, became an important part of the Indian National Congress. He started the Satyagraha movement in India as he believed that it was the only and most important weapon against the British government. Topic number 2. Rowlatt Act of 1919. The British government passed a new law in 1919, called Rowlatt Act. This new law made by the British government was very strict and cruel. According to this law, Indians could be put in jail, without trials, if they were suspected of terrorist activities. Indians revolted against the act and a nationwide protest was raised by calling Hartal, suspension of all work. The Rowlatt Act led to agitations by political leaders as well as the common public, and reached the pinnacle in Amritsar. Topic number 3. The Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre on the 13th of April 1919 was led by General Dyer. The Rowlatt Act became effective from the 10th of March 1919. On the 10th of April 1919, two leaders of Congress, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, were arrested and taken to an unknown place. On the 13th of April, at Jallianwala Bagh, people had gathered to protest against the arrest. General Dyer, who was not in favor of this meeting, entered the park with his troops. This place had only a narrow passage to go in and out and was walled on all the sides. He closed the entrance of the park and commanded his troops to open fire on the gathered people. The firing lasted for 10 minutes, killing about thousands of people and many others were left wounded. This was a very gruesome massacre. The massacre of Jallianwala Bagh was the worst incidence of British rule and people lost their trust in the British government. Topic number 4. Non-cooperation movement. The Jallianwala Bagh incident aroused the Indians all over the country, and in 1920, the non-cooperation movement started, which was led by Mahatma Gandhi. According to this movement, people were asked not to cooperate with the British government and they started breaking the laws deliberately. Gandhiji was joined by many young and dynamic leaders like P.T. Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Azad, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Sarojini Naidu and many more. The non-cooperation movement was a great success. Indian people started breaking the laws intentionally. Point number 1. Thousands of students and teachers left the schools and colleges run by the British. Point number 2. Lawyers boycotted law courts. Motilal Nehru set up an example by giving up his profession as a lawyer. Point number 3. Many people left their government jobs and also boycotted elections and government functions. Point number 4. People protested in front of shops selling British goods and laid stress on buying Indian goods only. Point number 5. Subhash Chandra Bose resigned from the Indian civil service. The non-cooperation movement was a great success. Even though the British government tried to suppress the movement using violent means and arresting several leaders, Gandhiji did not leave his path of non-violence. He wanted the movement to be peaceful, yet successful. Indian enthusiasm and the desire for freedom never became less. Topic number 5. Chauri Chura incident in 1922. The non-cooperation movement turned violent at Chauri Chura, small town in Uttar Pradesh. There were violent clashes between a group agitating people and the local police. The British police opened fire at the mob. Some Indian people set fire to a police station and 22 policemen died. This act of violence shocked Gandhiji and he withdrew the movement immediately. Some of the Indian leaders were disappointed with the withdrawal of the movement, but their desire for freedom was still high. They wanted to continue their revolt for independence. A new group of revolutionaries, like Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Chandrasekhar Azad, Jatin Das and many more became active for the freedom of India. They sacrificed their lives and this shook the foundation of British rule in India. A few more leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Sarojini Naidu, Maulana Azad, C. Rajagopalachari, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru and Chittaranjan Das, who took active part in the struggle for the freedom of India, came to the front. Topic number 6. Simon Commission. The British government made certain changes in the administration of India as law and order was becoming difficult to handle. In 1917, the British government appointed a commission to look into the problems of the people of India. It was headed by Sir John Simon and consisted of 6 other members, all members of the British Parliament. There was not even a single Indian in the commission. Under the leadership of Lala Lajpat Rai, it was decided to boycott the Simon Commission. Indians protested against the commission by carrying out demonstrations with black flags in their hands and with the slogan of "Simon Go Back." The protesters were lathi-charged and in one such act, Lala Lajpat Rai was badly injured in Lahore and he died after some time. This incident aroused the Indians all over the country, and the freedom movement revived with great zeal. On the 8th of April 1929, Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt exploded 2 bombs the floor of the Central Assembly. They made no attempt to escape. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev were sentenced to death. Jatin Das died in jail after keeping a fast for many days. Many revolutionaries laid down their lives for the freedom of India. Topic number 7. Civil Disobedience Movement. Some prominent Indian leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Sarojini Naidu and Maulana Abul Kalam Azad urged the people to work towards attaining complete independence. They also started a new movement called the Civil Disobedience Movement under the leadership of Gandhiji. It was the most significant phase of India's freedom struggle. The Indian National Congress demanded complete independence or Purna Swaraj from the British rule. Gandhiji launched the Civil Disobedience Movement on the 12th of March 1930, in Ahmedabad, conducting the Salt March, when he broke the salt laws imposed by the British government and manufactured salt. The journey of Gandhiji was called the Dandi March. Topic number 8. The Dandi March. According to the salt law, The Indians were not allowed to make salt and the British had a complete control over its manufacture. Gandhiji broke the salt laws imposed by the British government on the Indians, and then he conducted the Dandi March on the 12th of March 1930. Gandhiji openly defied the law and along with 78 followers, started the Dandi March, beginning from his ashram at Sabarmati in Ahmedabad. They walked over 30 kilometers on foot along the Gujarat coast, till they reached Dandi village on March 20, 1930. Inspired by Gandhiji, many more people along the coast of India broke the salt law and the movement spread in the entire country. The British were shocked, and they started arresting and killing people in thousands, but were unable to suppress the movement. In 1935, the British government passed the Government of India Act, but the Indians were still not happy as all power still remained in the hands of the British government. The Indians wanted the British to leave India. Topic number 9. Quit India Movement. The Quit India movement was launched on the 9th of August 1942 in response to Gandhiji's call for immediate independence. In 1940, in the Lahore session of the Muslim League, Jinnah announced that Muslims are a separate community from Hindus. This resulted in arousing the Indian people all over the country. To look into the matter, the British sent Sir Stafford Cripps to India on the 22nd of March 1942. He made certain suggestions which are not accepted by Indians, and the British were asked to leave India. Gandhiji called for immediate independence. He 1942. He made certain suggestions which were not accepted by the Indians, asked the people to do or die for the freedom of their country. The British Army tried to suppress the movement, but they were not successful. The British immediately arrested Gandhiji and many other leaders. The Indians were now determined to achieve freedom and continued to fight bravely for their motherland. It was the final step towards India's independence. Topic number 10. The Indian National Army or Azad Hind Fauj. The Indian National Army was organized by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose with the help of the Japanese. He somehow managed to escape from India in 1941 to organize an army to fight against the British from outside the country. In 1943, he formed the Azad Hind Fauj or Indian National Army. The aim was to free India from the British rule. He gave the famous slogans, Jai Hind, Dilli Chalo and Give Me Blood, I Will Give You Freedom. He had been elected as the President of the Indian National Congress twice. He was a well-known Congress leader. In 1945, after World War II ended, the British accepted the fact that they could no longer rule over India and accepted to give it freedom. On the 15th of August 1947, India finally became a free nation. On this historic occasion, Jawaharlal Nehru said, "At the stroke of midnight when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom." The flag of independent India was hoisted on the morning of the 15th of August 1947. India finally became a free nation, with P.T. Jawaharlal Nehru as its first Prime Minister and Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first President. However, the British had been successful in their divide and rule policy, which resulted in differences among the Hindus and Muslims. This led to the partition of India into two parts, India and Pakistan. Muhammad Ali Jinnah became the leader of newly separated Pakistan. Now this time to know fact. After 21 years of Jallianwala Bagh massacre, one person named Udham Singh go to London and shooted 3 bullets to General Dyer and took revenge of Jallianwala Bagh massacre.